Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Pam Esquire, also known as your law intellect. Thank you so much for spending your lunchtime with me. I appreciate that. Hey, Alice, good to see you. Sonia, So St. Louis, Celeste, Miss HLS, Miss ICU2, all of you guys. Shandi, thank you guys so much for joining on this Tuesday. For those of you that are new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you so much for continuously supporting the platform. If you want to support the platform and allow us to get into the algorithm, I need you guys to hit the like button. And also, if you just been watching in the bushes but have not committed to the platform, today I want you to commit. I want you to say, I've been enjoying this content for a couple of years now, and I should show my support by hitting that subscribe button. If you guys would be so kind to hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell because you can turn your notifications on in order to get notified whenever I come on. Also follow me on Instagram, pam.esq. Go ahead and follow me, because I also put in my stories most of the time, if I could remember, whenever I am about to go live. Okay, y'all. J80 said I find welcome so much. Thank you for coming onto the platform. Is there another? I feel like the altar call. Is there another that would like to subscribe to the channel? Anyone else want to come out of the bushes? Today is the day. We all have our eyes closed. If you just raise your hand and come out of the bushes and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Mom the boss said, hello, Pam and the Intellects. Hey, thank you for being a member for 9 months. I'm trying to make the people feel comfortable, J81. I need y'all to feel come forth. We are nice over here. We over here, we just get into the legal documents, legal information, court cases, and trials. We give our unsolicited opinion, but it's our legal opinion based on a thorough analysis. We are unbiased, well, we try to be, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know about the chat though. We still working on the intellects, but for the most part, because they do start leaning to one side like this, and then I gotta pull them back over here, But that's what we do. We're here to support each other, and we're here to lift and build each other up in an intellectual manner. That's what we do over here. Thank you so much, Miss HLS said your hair is pretty, Pammy Pam. Thank you so much. That's, nothing but those curls that just won't go away. When your hairdresser curls them so tight and a week later they just still there and you just trying to do something so you don't look crazy. That's pretty much the stage that I'm in. Because you guys know I'm about to be pulling up them braids in a minute because this having my hair out is a lot. But thank you so much for the compliment. GC said, you are a PK. I am. And if you guys don't know about the PK-ish in me, my father does have a channel over there called World Faith Ministries. And he comes on a lot, give you about 15, 20 minutes, hit and quit it, keep it going, give you some scriptures. If you just need some inspiration or you need some direction on what you want to focus on that day, go on over there to that channel and subscribe over there too, okay? All right? Give him some views. Give the man of God some views over there too. But over here we we a little different over here. But we still love God and stuff, but we get a little different over here. Vintage said, I'm watching on my phone and TV. I was able to give 2 likes. Thank you. See, that's that double portion. Thank you so much for the double portion that you have given over here. I appreciate that. And I get baptized in this here court. Jackson Tabasco, you are funny to me. Thank you so much. I will let him know that. Thank you. Hey, Thais, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate that. Island girl, can I get to what she said? So Cassie was consenting to being kicked down the hall like a football. No, I got to get into. See, here we go. This is our jump to conclusion intellect, but it's okay. We are all at different stages. You know what I'm saying? We are all at different stages in our legal walk. All right. Some people are still, drinking milk. Some have meat, some are in between with a little bread. But we love each other regardless. All right. So I'm gonna hold your hand, Island Girl. I want you to come over here and you're gonna be my intern on today, okay? Because that is not what this document is about. Come on now. Y'all know that. Thank you. Edge Defines that I look so cute, and thank you. That's what she said. Oh my God. Okay, y'all. Make sure you share and all of that good stuff, because we get, when it comes to Diddy, folk don't, I think it was some other bigger platforms said the same thing. With a lot of these cases that we have been covering, they get suppressed. They do get suppressed because they don't know what you're about to say about them. You know what I'm saying? And so it seems like YouTube don't really, let folk know that you want and all of that good stuff. So thank you so much, Candace. I appreciate. You can always be my intern. We have a good time. You know what I'm saying? We have a good time. In real life in court, I've had a lot of interns, and they've enjoyed themselves, for the most part. Let me be quiet for some of them coming to chat like, oh no, you don't want to intern for her. You're going to be good. You're going to be able to be a practicing attorney when you come intern with me. That's one thing that will happen. Yes, I am going to talk about the case. Am I taking too long, Mr. Big Bray? Is that why you're asking that question or something? I'm moving too slow for you. Am I moving too slow for you? So this morning, today, for those of you that don't know, there was a Peacock. It's been a lot of documentaries that have been out on Diddy, okay? And there was a Peacock documentary that came out. And I'm going to be honest with you. My intent was I was going to watch it and perhaps give a little bit of commentary and feedback on it, because I don't really do that. I usually literally stick to the documents over here. And I probably watched a good 15 straight minutes. They were talking about his background and his childhood. They had some of his childhood friends and stuff. And your girl went to sleep. Like, I fell asleep. That's probably why you're talking about I look refreshed. That's because I just woke up. I was up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. That's where you get all the good cleaning and stuff done. Then as soon as businesses open, like I had to call the courts and get documents and all that. I had done all that by like 8:30 when the doors of the courts were open. So by about 9:30, I was finished with that. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to watch from 10 to 12. I am going to watch this Peacock documentary. And so I turned it on, and next thing you know, I was asleep. Now, that's not making it seem like it was boring and you shouldn't watch it. It's just, I was tired. That's all, okay? Because the first 15 minutes, it was okay. But it wasn't anything that made me not go to sleep, all right? Go back to sleep. But what I did, the little bit, and I don't want to be no spoiler, but a lot of the people that were on there are your same people that you've heard. Okay. Aside from making the band, and it was a couple of the high school people. I mean, not high school. Yeah, high school friend or neighborhood friends. It was Ariel Mitchell was on there, that attorney that was representing the guy Courtney Burgess, and some was watching Adria English, was representing her rather. And Andrea has found her. She has found her another attorney actually. So, and they amended the complaint. So apparently she was able to find somebody. It was what's that lady's name? Gloria Allred's daughter. She does a lot of the same type. They represented a lot of Weinstein. They were on there. Gene Deal is on there. Shocker, right? So I was kind of in and out, and I was really curious to hear about Sarah Stokes. So I did wake up on that part. God saw fit that I should at least hear that part. And all I got from what I got from, I ain't even gonna say that because I didn't watch the whole thing, so I wanted where it was more. But the portion that I did see, she was basically saying that Diddy had touched her inappropriately or something at some point. That's the part that I got from her. And then after that, when I saw Ariel Mitchell, I just went back to sleep. It's just so I'm gonna have to rewatch it. Okay, I was gonna do maybe a watch time within the membership or something. Maybe we'll do that, but I have nothing, y'all. I have nothing to report on that because I fell asleep. I have no excuse. I fell asleep. Yeah, Lisa Bloom. Yeah, that's that chick's name. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, do we have a new member? You said you welcome someone. Let me see. Welcome April all year. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. The Honorable Leg Jury said, I am second chair down at the Hood and Holy Law Firm. Hey, Patty. Hey, girl. Good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Hit that like button on your way in. So, anyways, when I saw this documentary, I was wondering what is because I almost can predict what's about to happen now with these filings and stuff because it's almost being used, in my opinion, as a PR situation. And so I immediately checked the docket. And Diddy's attorney did file something on today, almost as soon as this Peacock documentary was released. And let's see what he had to say. So where's my intern at? I want you to pay attention, okay? To my intern, I want you to pay attention. Is this letter gonna come up? Wait a minute. Man, I hate doing it on PDF because then why has this been coming up blank? I hate using it on PDF, but girls gotta do what a girl's got to do. Cause then I can't, it comes up so hold on. Let's see what we got here. What's the name of this vouch? What's today? The 14th. Okay. All right. We'll have to do it this way then. I don't know what is going on with my pulling this stuff up. So, anyways, this is what was filed on today. Okay. All right, I want you guys to pay attention. Grab your juror notepads and your pens because I'm going to ask your opinion on this, okay? And this is just an opinion, all right? So this was just filed a few minutes ago, right? And this is addressed to the judge. They do a lot of letters to the judge in New York. It's very interesting procedure they have there. We don't really do that here. So it's very interesting to see. But nonetheless, this is on behalf of Sean Combs. We write on behalf of our client, Sean Combs, to request a modification of the terms of the protective order to require the government to electronically produce videos described in paragraph 12A and 12C of the indictment. So then there's a footnote. For those that don't know what a protective order is, a protective order is it's an agreement typically on both parties. Sometimes if you don't agree on the other side, you file a motion for protective order and the judge enter it anyway, because you have some sensitive information. Sometimes you have wiretaps that may implicate other people that are just under investigation and they may not ever get charged, but when the public get a hold of it, they like, oh my gosh, did you see so-and-so was talking on the phone with so-and-so? And they may jump to conclusions. It may be sensitive information. So it gives the parameters where, like, as you see these redactions on this document, of which you cannot put out to the public what this information is. And some of a lot of corporations do it because it'll have their bylaws, it'll have like an employment law, maybe their policies, their employee manuals, things of that nature that are not to be put out for the public to have and for public consumption and to read. And so when you refer to it, though, you are obviously allowed to submit it to the court so the court can review it themselves without all the redactions. However, for people like you and I who are just pulling it off of a public source, we can only get redactions and we can only assume perhaps what it might be. So that is basically a very, very summary of what a protective order is. So anyways, there's a footnote that says the protective order requires the parties to meet and confer regarding any dispute over the government's designations, after which the defense may seek de-designation to the court. We have conferred with the government counsel who opposes the request. So they have a provision in the protective order that there may be information that the government feels should be a part of the protective order and should not be released. And but of course the other side may not agree with that. And if that happens, then they can, seek to have the court make de-designate it so that it's not a part of the, okay. So let's go on. The protective order includes a novel provision making this video evidence, quote, available for inspection only and not electronically produced. So a part of this protective order, there are videos of which Combs and his attorney is only made available to look at it. They're not typically what happen is when you get discovery, they'll give you some type of junk drive, or now a lot of the courts have electronic encrypted links of which you can go to a site and download it. However, they give you your discovery. You usually have a tangible copy, like you can replay it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, Well, apparently with these videos, they made it inspection only. You can view it, but you can't have a copy in your hand, is what it sounds like. So they go on to say, having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirmed that Mr. Combs is innocent and that their full exculpatory value, that means they're alleging these videos that they won't turn over to them, are favorable to Mr. Combs. Not, it's actually exculpatory. It's Brady material, what we call Brady material. So I'm going to read that again since I talk so much. Having reviewed these videos, it is now abundantly clear that they confirm Mr. Combs' innocence and that their full exculpatory value cannot be investigated and used unless they are electronically produced. So they're saying they want to use it, and the only way they can use it is if they actually electronically give it to them in electronic form, rather. Rule 16A 1E expressly requires production of copies of such material to the defense, and there is no plausible good cause to restrict access to them under Rule 16D1. Accordingly, they should be produced in the normal course so that the defense may evaluate and use them in the same manner as the other Rule 16 and Brady material. All right? You guys with me so far? Let's move on. I see you guys coming in. Thank you so much for supporting. Lizzie Lee said, I believe there was some victims, but I believe Cassie was a willing participant. If Diddy is jail, I believe Cassie should be jailed also. Whoa, that is from Lizzie Lee. Kashan asked, is this Diddy's team writing to the court? Yes, that's exactly who it is. It's Diddy's attorney. Okay. See, that's very interesting. See, Breeze 40 said, good afternoon, Attorney Pam. I'm not watching the documentary, but not because I believe in Diddy. I just realized this isn't about the victim, it's about the downfall of Diddy. It absolutely is, and I think that's the title. Isn't it like the downfall of Diddy or something? Yes, it is about, they do go back to his childhood and they talk about him being bullied. To me, him being bullied wasn't a shocker to me, and I've never really heard that before. The way he finally got in a position of power, and a lot of times people that do that, they'll do that to other people. And so I think I said that when all of this stuff started coming out, is that, I believe he probably was a little punk and a little wimp when he was younger. People probably stole his sandwiches at lunchtime. They probably, and the pictures, they had old school pictures of him, like pictures of him. He was like 6 years old, and they was dressing this little boy like he was 30. He had the little Kango hat. He had the two-piece suit on. I mean, he was just dressed like, I feel like I'm promoting this little documentary that I only watch about 15 minutes of. But he was like, he had money. His family had money, is what it sounds like. And the kids ain't really like him. And they said he was soft like a marshmallow. And so, when these jokers be soft like a marshmallow, when they get older, they start trying to be little bullies and punks. Instead of going to counseling and getting you some therapy, you go traumatize other people and you make them have to go get therapy. Diddy, you should have went and got you some help, bro. You know what I'm saying? We can't help that they came, and on Fridays when they had that good pizza, somebody would come over there and put their finger in the middle of your pizza and say, can I get your pizza? And they used to take your pizza. That's not our fault, okay? We just need you to go get the help that you need. Libby said the documentary was trash. Okay. No, overthought. I don't think it is either. They hyped it up so much, and even like I said, Sarah from Making the Band, she was doing little clips or whatever. So I was thinking, okay, because she had never really said much. Remember, Aubrey always was out here talking about Diddy. Like, she was never scared. She always talked about him and how mean he was and controlling and dominant and all of that. So I thought Sarah was about to bring the business. Sarah from the D. I was like, oh, first of all, I was shocked when she came out with the video saying, I never told anybody. And it's like featuring Sarah and all of this stuff. So I'm thinking she about to get some goods. And she, the little piece I saw, I was like, oh, okay. And then I kind of went back to sleep. So it's very interesting. Let's go on, okay? Because I get caught up in y'all comments. So let's go on. Let's go on. All right. Make sure you hit that like button. All right. I get carried away in my commentary. I apologize. So let's go on. The 9 videos at issue are the so-called freak-off tapes with victim 1 that the government has repeatedly referenced, causing wild speculations in the media. So these are supposed to be 9 videos that are supposed to be what they're saying are called our freak-offs, and it includes Cassie or victim 1. Contrary to what the government has led this court and the public to believe, the so-called freak-offs were private sexual activity between fully consenting adults in a long-term relationship. Like many Americans in the privacy of their own bedroom, they sometimes film their sexual activity. So they're saying it was just their regular way of life and they filmed it. These videos unambiguously show that the person alleged in the indictment to be victim 1 not only consented, but thoroughly enjoyed herself. Can you imagine being a lawyer and you got to watch all these X tapes? I guess that's why they get paid the big bucks, because I don't know if I could do it, man. So he had to sit there and watch the videos and be like, she doesn't look like she's not, and she doesn't look forced. And try to, is that what the jury's going to have to do? Like, look at it and try to discern whether it seems like it's something that she wanted to do? It's interesting. These recordings, and then you see the redaction, so it must be information that we're not supposed to know based on the protective order. These recordings corroborate what witnesses have told the government, namely that victim 1 blank. We don't get nothing because it's redacted. The recordings also directly refute the allegation that Mr. Combs kept these videos as collateral. These recordings were not NOT on Mr. Combs' devices and were not seized from his homes. Rather, victim 1 kept these videos on her own device for years and produced them to the government herself. So these weren't even documents. We all know that Diddy's house was raided. They do start this documentary with, they started a documentary of Where My Intern At, because this is how they started the documentary, with the clip of Diddy kicking Cassie by that elevator. That's how they started out, with little clips. They started with that because, you know, that was the most outrageous and egregious thing that we've seen. They started with that. And then they went to like the clips showing the raids and all of that and how they took all the electronics. So allegedly the 9 tapes that they are referring to did not come from the raid from Diddy's home. It actually came from victim 1. And they're saying that this would take away the whole notion of he uses these tapes as collateral, because clearly this was a consensual type of recording as well, because she had a recording for herself on her phones or on her devices. So that's what they're alleging. So simply Cindy said collateral or blackmail. Well, they said I get what you're saying. Yeah. I think they describe more of blackmail to say that they're going to put it out or something, I guess. So yeah, that's a good catch. They said alleging some alleged victims were saying that he would allege that he would put it out or something to embarrass them or whatnot. So let's go on to the next page. General counsel said, imagining that she was married at the time and kept these intimate videos. Apparently she did, according to this. Okay. Tabitha said that alone could free Diddy. I don't know, Tabitha. We jumping the gun, but we'll see. Okay, we waiting to see what comes up next. Let's go to page 2. Moreover, contrary to innumerable sensationalistic media reports, the videos do not depict ex-parties. So these videos don't show the parties that everybody talking about. There are no secret cameras, no orgies, no other celebrities involved, no underground tunnels, no minors, and not so much as a hint of coercion or violence. Far from the government's lurid descriptions, the videos show adults having consensual acts, plain and simple. At bottom, this case is about whether victim one was or was not a willing participant in her private ex life with Mr. Combs. The videos confirm that she plainly was. Okay. Kashan, this doesn't make any sense. LOL. The video of him dragging Cassie and then the quick settlement. No one's dumb. So what y'all keep coming to this video? We're talking about the indictment. Yes, they use the video to try to show that there's some type of violence and coercion, which, you know, that there was domestic violence. He alleges, and we do have to say what he alleges as well, that it was both sides. And some people have come forward and said he hit her and she hit him. Yes, we do have the video that he tried to suppress, obviously, by paying someone for this video not to surface. Well, apparently he did not have the only video because somebody else did and they let it out. But this indictment is very specific to ex trafficking and all of that. So that's what he is trying to combat against, is that allegation. So yes, we can talk about how disgusting and egregious that was, and we can assume that that wasn't the only time that it occurred, because most DVs does not just occur one time. That just happened to be caught on videotape at that time. We can try to jump to that type of assumption if you would like. However, we're sticking to the indictment, of which he is talking about the ex trafficking. So let's just be clear. And this is why you have the motions that were being filed. But he did it, Adams did it, Mayor Adams. Everyone is trying to stop the media, because what it does is the people that are watching this is your jury pool. So if you're on that jury and your elements have nothing to do with a beating, right? Has nothing to do with that. How do you unring a bell to get that out your mind? Because that is the first thing people go to. And again, I thought it was interesting that on that documentary, that was one of the very first clips that they showed before they got into the program, was that, because that was the one that was the most egregious. And they showed him apologizing where he looked ridiculous to me. But they showed that as well, because that is the one that has incited the emotions out of everybody, hoping that it will make you forget about what the actual elements are that the government is going to have to prove. Okay. Let's just keep that in mind. All righty. Okay. Now let's hit the like button, okay, as you come in, because I'm over here working here doing all this explaining, all right? So let's get into the background. Soon after Mr. Combs was charged, the parties began negotiating the terms of a protective order. So he's talking about himself and the government went over the terms of the protective order. During the negotiations, the government insisted over defense objection that certain videos obtained from victim one and depicting alleged, quote, freak-offs would not be electronically produced and would instead only be available for in-person viewing while monitored by law enforcement. So they can only watch it. So you standing there watching it, you got two guards sitting up there watching it too. That's the way they can watch these videos of these actual acts with victim one or Cassie. The government explained that victim one, whose attorney gave these videos to the government, requested that they not be produced to protect her privacy, and that the government would, quote, honor that request. So essentially what they're saying is, when this video was produced to the government, there was a request, I guess, by the attorney that they not be produced. So you can view it, but we're not going to put it in your hands. basically, or you're not going to be able to have control over when you see it. You're not going to be able to copy it. You're not going to be able to do any of that, but you have a specific location of which you get to view it, and you got two other law enforcement there, whoever, watching you as well while you watching it. To ensure we would receive discovery without further delay, the defense agreed to receive discovery under those conditions. So the defense agreed. That's cool. We just trying to get the discovery so we know what we're up against. Because perhaps if they were arguing about these videos, they wouldn't even know what was on them by now. So I guess at the moment they were like, all right, we'll just agree to just view them or whatnot. And now they changed their position. Okay. But they reserved their right on the proposed order to later seek modifications of designations from the court. So on October 7, 2024, the court so ordered the proposed. So the protective order was signed by the court on October 7, 2024. After spending 4 weeks attempting to schedule viewing of the evidence, the defense was finally able to watch the videos under the supervision of law enforcement on November 20th of 2024 and December 13th of 2024. So they was able to view the videos on 2 separate occasions. The evidence consists of 9 videos depicting unambiguously consensual and sexual encounters. And there's a footnote that says the government also included for in-person inspection certain explicit photos victim 1 sent to Mr. Combs. The government redacted these photographs from the copies of communications between victim 1 and Mr. Combs that were produced in discovery, even though such photographs do not fall within the scope of footnote 3 of the protective order. These photographs also appear to reflect entirely consensual sexual activity. So it sounds like perhaps there were also photos of which Cassie may have sent them to Diddy. And those were redacted in the text messages or whatever that they saw, but they're saying that wasn't a part of what they agreed to in the protective order, that those still photos be not, produced to them. Okay. And then it says in all 6 of these encounters. So wait a minute. So there's 9 videos depicting 6, unambiguously consensual sexual encounters. And all 6 of these encounters, victim 1 is not only consenting, she is evidently happy, dominant, and completely in control. Then it has redactions all up and through here. So we don't know. That is probably part of the protective order. There is no evidence of any violence, coercion, threats, or manipulation whatsoever. There is no evidence that anyone is incapacitated or under the influence of drugs or excessive alcohol consumption. There is certainly no evidence of ex trafficking. Okay, so that is the facts behind it. So let me see what y'all thoughts are on the facts behind it. Do you guys think? Now we're going to go over, we have to go over the law to see, what the law says about what's required with production and all of that. So Seabree said, let's be very clear, regardless what Miss Cassie's initial plan was, she was physically assaulted. That by itself makes her a victim. She's an alleged victim when it comes to this indictment. Okay. I'm talking about the indictment. You're talking about the assaults. Okay. So if it comes out that she hit him, are you going to say he's a victim too? Seabreeze 40. If he gets hit, because we don't talk about male violence, is he going to be considered a victim as well or no? Whew. Lizzie said Cassie was forced to take drugs for over 10 years. If you believe that, I have an island to sell you in Arizona. Oh my goodness. Overthought says, so Wigdor handed these to the feds, not realizing it's Brady material. Okay. LOL. They probably came to her though after that lawsuit. You think they didn't ask? Because you know, Wigdor didn't file this lawsuit. We all knew that Wigdor was very specific. It was probably one of the most specific lawsuits I had ever really seen. Just very, very like just like read like a book, like a story. And so it was obvious this attorney had some information. So maybe they said, what information did you have that made you decide you're going to represent Cassie and come after Diddy? Because you know that he is a powerful person. So I know you had some evidence. Can you turn that over? And so maybe they just turned over what they had in their possession. So let's see. She was running from him and chased her to physically assault her. That's the difference. Okay. Ashar Powell said Cassie was showing Diddy everything he was unaware was in her possession. So you think Diddy didn't know that Cassie had these videos? So that's what you think. Okay. All righty. Tina said, I'd be happy too if I took pink cocaine. Okay, Tina Doherty. Elite Leo said Cassie became an addict. Yes, she said he introduced it to her, but she became an addict and willingly took the drugs. That's usually how it goes. People are introduced to it from someone else. Okay. Is Cassie the only victim? No. In the indictment, they alleged, I believe in the indictment, Cassie is the only alleged victim. Because remember, they kept saying they're going to supersede the indictment and add more individuals to it. So that has not occurred yet. Just Me said Kim Porter consented to the behavior as well. Misa didn't put up with it, and neither did Sarah. Well, Sarah wasn't in a relationship with them. If you're talking about Sarah for making the band, she was obviously a part of the group. She mentioned that cheesecake too. You know, that cheesecake a trigger that sent me to the therapist couch because that thing. He said all these SVU detectives in the chat. Everybody on overtime, okay? Listen. You said I don't like Diddy and have it on behalf of R&B group Total and haven't on behalf of them. So you don't like them because of what happened with Total? Okay. I thought there was a victim too. So when it comes to the ex trafficking, they kind of generalize it so we can assume they're trying to say it was more people because they're saying people were brought over. So the people that's brought over, right, that were supposed to be a part of it, maybe that's what they're alleging. But no, the main indictment, most of the information in the indictment is too long to go back over it, was based on the lawsuit with Cassie. A lot of it. And then, of course, the raid happened and they found GUNs and all of that. So some of the information from the raids were in there. But allegedly, you know, Cassie gave information, I guess, that they would call people and there was a certain entity, I guess, that would provide people, and it was the name that was given. Of course, they deny it and say they don't provide actual services. They do provide companionship, and whatever these people do is on them, or however they phrased it. I'm just paraphrasing. But yeah. ATR only echo notes and consent can be taken back at any time if you consent it to a spit roast 2 weeks ago. Previous participants say new ones can't expect one 2 weeks later. Just saying. That is true. You can change your mind right before you do it. No means no. That is true. You said Sarah is his daughter's mom. Which daughter? You have to tell me. I thought you were talking about Sarah for making a band. Thank you so much, boss lady, for correcting that. I appreciate that. See, Breezy 40. Listen. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Let me see the sex. Let me see what statute he's under. Y'all gonna make me look this indictment up again. Let's see. Let me find his indictment right fast. Right fast. You know, I done took a nap and everything on that documentary, so I got a little bit of energy here. Let me see. Indictment. Let me see what the statute is. Means and method of the enterprise. Because, you know, he pretty much had a RICO, too. Remember, he had a racketeering. So, X trafficking, forced fraud, or coercion. Okay. So, I think what they were alleging, maybe with the tape, perhaps they're trying to say that he was beating her up in order to come back to the activities. Maybe that's what they're trying to get out of that situation. But the actual just domestic violence period is not by itself, I guess I should say, is not what this indictment is. USC 1591 E2. Let's see what it says. Where is E at? So 15 is 1591. This is what they have in the statute. So this is what they allege on the X trafficking part. All right, let me read it from the indictment. From at least in or about 2009 up and including in or about 2018. Remember, Cassie left him in 2018, right? Allegedly. And I think she was with him in 2009, right? Wasn't she with him for like almost 10 years? So it has the defendant in and affecting interstate and foreign commerce knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person knowing and reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18 USC 1591 E2. So that definition in E2 is the term abuse or threatened abuse of law or legal process means the use or threatened use of a law or legal process, whether administrative, civil, or criminal, any manner or for any purpose for which, wait a minute, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Coercion, because they said E2. So the term coercion means threats of serious harm to or physical restraint against any person, any scheme, plan, or pattern intended to cause a person to believe that failure to perform an act would result in serious harm to or physical restraint against any person, or the abuse or threatened abuse of law or legal process. So I think what Diddy and them is trying to argue is that she was happy it was consensual, so there was no coercion. That's why they keep mentioning the word coercion. What the government is saying is things like what you're bringing up in these videos. I guess they're trying to connect that this beating was attached to a freak off of which she was forced to come back and have sexual. She was trying to escape the sexual activity, and then maybe all that dragging and stuff and beating her was to bring her back to it. So they would have to show that, of course, that they did something even after that. You know what I'm saying? That some type of activity had happened after that. And this is why Diddy's attorney was trying to show the whole video, and they're alleging a whole different scenario. They're alleging that a whole different scenario happened because I guess the government is trying to use that as the evidence of the coercion. If it makes sense. Okay. So then count 3 is transportation to engage in prostitution. Again, it has from at least 2009 up and including 2024 now. So this is going to be the other people, I guess, that were coming in and allegedly getting paid, because she wasn't messing with him in 2024. She'd been married and got kids and stuff. In the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, the defendant, knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with an intent that the individual engage in prostitution, and attempted, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the same, to wit, Combs transported, aided, and abetted, and willfully caused the transportation of female victims and commercial ex workers to interstate. So the people that actually allegedly came for the purposes of just X, that's his prostitution charge that he has. Okay. And the first one, because those were just the two counts, the first one was racketeering. So, that's long. They saying all this is a RICO. Okay. I'm trying to see if there's a short way to talk about this RICO. From at least 2008, Combs, members and associates of the Combs enterprise engaged in attempted to engage in, among other activities, ex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion. So they're basically making it, they turned it into a RICO as well. So that's what it is, guys. That's what it is, for those of you that were wondering. Oh man, y'all getting it in the chat. Diddy is exactly where he deserves to be based on his actions alone. That's from Southwest Houston, Texas. Okay. I heard the bag in her hand was filled with Diddy's money. Prostitutes usually try to take their chicks' money. Ah, you heard? I haven't heard that, Lizzie. So, Queen Brielle said, Pam, on Pacer case summary page, it states that that is what the title is that comes up: ex trafficking of children or by force, fraud, or coercion. That is the title that actually did come up, but it looks like in the indictment they talked about they used it for the definition of coercion. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. But I noticed that too when I just pulled it up, that it did have something about children by force. But they don't have, unless they're trying to say on the ex trafficking portion, it only really talks about, you guys heard me when I read it, the time period they're talking about ex trafficking, they're only talking about victim one, which we know is Cassie. So they say 2009 to 2018. That was the crux of their relationship. Now, when they get down to the prostitution, they just talk about all the way up until basically he was locked up, that they paid people to come and do. But thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. Overthought said that's a common pick-me narrative, that she was stealing his money, implying the beating is justified. LOL. Yeah, I heard something different, but I it's a whole nother narrative. It's a whole nother narrative, of course, and I can't recall right now what Diddy was saying, but I think some of the things, they're somewhat limited, I guess, because of this protective order. But they have a whole different narrative, and that's why they wanted the court to view the whole video, because they said it's not exactly how it's being presented. Well, the judge felt like it didn't matter how it was being presented, it's still bad either way, so he still didn't give him a bond. So whatever the judge saw, it really didn't persuade him anymore. It looked like, for bond purposes, that he wouldn't be a threat to society, or that people would be afraid if he was released, So it didn't matter what was said, what was additional on that video. According to them, they are very adamant that the videos that they've received, and they only had, the judge gave them, I think, until the first week of December to turn over everything that they have, it sounds like. And so, for the most part, they should have the majority of their discovery. And based on this, it sounds like they believe that they don't have any tapes that show what they're alleging, is what they're trying to say. So, Kashawn said they were definitely in an abusive relationship. She wasn't an escort. No. I don't know none of these people. We just all give it. Yes, please. All I know is you need to share, like, and subscribe. That's it. That's what I know right now. We just learning this like everybody else. We don't know. Listen, we know what was alleged in the complaint. Diddy said it ain't true, and then the video came out. Like, she described the hotel incident. So when Diddy came out and blatantly was like, generally speaking, it's all a lie. None of it is true. And then the video came out, and then you had Kid Cudi say that happened. You had a few people that came out and tried one of her really good friends, Tiffany Red, came out and talked about an incident. Then they talked about the incident of somebody being held over a balcony. And I think that girl ended up filing a lawsuit too against Diddy eventually. But people started coming out trying to corroborate when he said that none of it was true. So, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Seabreeze. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into this, because child, we'll be here talking all day long, and then we won't even be talking about this later. So, Rule 16 requires electronic production of the videos, and there is no good cause to withhold production. Rule 16 requires the production of these videos. Specifically, it provides that the government must permit the defendant to inspect and to copy, in italics, data that is within the government's possession, custody, or control, and that is material to preparing the defense as direct evidence undermining the core of the government's case, which is freak off activities is the core of the case. These videos are unquestionably material, and they have a lot of case law to back that up. The court's authority to enter or modify a protective order stems from Rule 16d1, which provides that at any time the court may, for good cause, deny, restrict, or defer discovery or inspection, or grant other appropriate relief. And then it tells you why the court can modify for good cause this protective order. So we go down a little bit. A party can demonstrate good cause for the issuance of a protective order when a party shows that disclosure will result in a clearly defined, specific, and serious injury, such as compromising the privacy interests of innocent third parties, causing the risk of harm to law enforcement or others, or impeding ongoing government investigations. The government cannot meet its burden. There is no good cause to prevent the electronic production of these highly exculpatory videos. So they keep saying this is favorable to them because this case does not involve classified information or child porn. There is no authority to restrict defense counsel's possession, review, and analysis of this video. So there's restrictions that they don't got to turn it over if it's actually child porn. Nothing in the Crime Victims' Rights Act provides similar discovery restrictions or an exception to Rule 16. Moreover, any concerns regarding victim one's privacy interests are adequately protected by the remaining provisions of the protective order. There is no greater risk in granting defense counsel a copy of the files for the preparation of its defense under a suitable protective order than exists in the government's maintenance and use of the files in preparation of its own case. So then they have the case law there, which is U.S. v. Cadet, which granted defense motion for a copy of all alleged ORN in case predating enactment of the Walsh Act. The government is free to designate the material as, quote, attorney's possession only, which will require that the material be maintained in a safe and secure manner by defense counsel. So if they designate it as attorney possession only, then it has to stay in the possession of the attorney. Okay, so oftentimes you get discovery and you give your client a copy of their discovery, but this would be something that has to be secured. If it's attorney possession only, it cannot go beyond the attorney. Okay, so this will require that the material be maintained in a safe and secure manner by defense counsel, shall not be possessed by the defendant except in the presence of defense counsel, and shall not be disclosed in any form except pursuant to the terms of the protective order. Indeed, the APO designation is for the precise purpose of addressing potential risks to the privacy or safety of victims or witness and sufficiently mitigates any risk of disclosure. Even if there were some remaining privacy concerns, any hypothetical risk that the videos would be disclosed and contravention of this court's protective order is substantially outweighed by the real and substantial risk that Mr. Combs' defense will be hampered by limited access to the videos. Unless the protective order is modified to require the government to produce copies of the videos, the defense will not be able to effectively make use of this critical evidence at trial. The videos include audio recordings, but much of it is inaudible on the device provided for inspection, and what is barely audible requires headphones to hear. So they want to be able to hear what's happening in these videos, apparently. On certain videos, the lighting is also very bad, and the images are quite dark and grainy. Mr. Combs needs to use defense experts, including inter alia experts, who could enhance the quality of the audio and video and analyze the metadata associated with the videos, including when the videos were created or modified. So they need an expert to look at these videos and to help with the quality, because they're grainy and you can't hardly hear anything. The government has offered to use a neutral expert to enhance the audio and visual quality of the videos. This novel proposal is inconsistent with Rule 16 and due process, as it will restrict Mr. Combs from retaining and directing experts of his choosing and require him to unfairly preview his defense. It also does not account for the other ways Mr. Combs seeks to put the evidence to use. For example, Mr. Combs may need to show the recordings to other experts or witnesses. Mr. Combs will also need to extract portions of the video to create trial exhibits, stills, and transcripts. Oh, this trial is about to be a mess. In sum, there is a much greater likelihood that the defendant would be harmed in the ability to prepare a defense by limited access to the material on the government's terms than there is that the material will be further distributed by the defense in contravention of the court order. So that is what they're saying. There's no good cause to keep them from being able to have their own copy, and you just make it under attorney possession only, okay? So that nobody else can get it but the attorney, who will have it under lock and key in a safe location. All right. I see I got a couple of super chats. I appreciate that. Thank you for keeping us informed. You are appreciated. Thank you so much. You are so kind. DC Lively said, thanks for keeping us updated and informed. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. Shall we move on? Okay. I know you guys probably fighting in the chat, but we got a little bit to get through. We're almost, it's only like 7 pages. We're at 5. Okay. I guess I can move it for y'all to be at 5, huh? So then they go on to say the video constitute exculpatory Brady material, and the restrictions on Mr. Combs' ability to use them in his trial preparation violates due process. Okay. I'm gonna just go to this next slide. Okay. Brady also requires, and y'all know what Brady is. We've talked about that enough over here. Brady also requires the government to produce copies of the video. Under Brady, the government has a constitutional duty to disclose favorable evidence to the accused where such evidence is, quote, material either to guilt or to punishment. And that's in U.S. v. Jackson over there in the Second Circuit. It requires production of information such that a defendant can, quote, take advantage of exculpatory evidence in time for its effective use at trial. And it got some more case law. An item is material to preparing the defense under Rule 16 if it could be used to counter the government's case or bolster its defense. And so the Combs attorneys goes on to say it is troubling that the government has had the evidence since December of 2023 and nonetheless brought these charges. The video evidence refutes the claim that victim one was forced to participate and can only be squared with her account if one assumes, as the government apparently does, that certain women, quote, cannot consent, end quote, despite all indications to the contrary. And they say, see the bail appeal hearing at page 15, where the government is arguing that when women are motivated by, quote, the loss of their livelihood and housing, end quote, or experience abuse outside freak offs, they cannot consent, and that is ex trafficking. Apparently, that was said over there at that bail hearing, one of the 20,000 that he had. The government's view also depends on the characterization of freak offs as dirty, disgusting, or inherently unsavory, and therefore must have involved some amount of coercion. See the indictment describing freak offs as elaborate and produced X performances that were, quote, arranged, directed, and sometimes lasted multiple days. Referring to and then in paragraph 12B of the indictment, referring to various freak off supplies, including baby oil and lubricant. The premise that freak offs are inherently dangerous. Bail appeal hearing at page 13 shows that the government seeks to police non-conforming sexual activity and that it assumes, despite all evidence to the contrary, that a woman's willing participation must have been coerced. So they basically saying the government is trying to police what is considered ethical, almost and unethical. Like what is, what is okay in your home that you choose to do in an sexual manner. That's what they're arguing. And they're looking at it as it's nasty and dangerous and disgusting, and that there's no way anyone would ever consent to anything like this. And they're saying that that is a leap. In this case, it was consensual. That's what they're saying. Any fair-minded viewer of the video will quickly conclude that the prosecution of Mr. Combs is both sexist and puritanical. Wow. It is sexist because the government's theory perpetrates stereotypes of female victimhood and lack of agency. The prosecution reflects a paternalistic view that the government is here to protect women who cannot be trusted to make their own decisions about sex and are not capable of consenting to sex that the prosecutors view as outside the quote norm. Wow. Oh my. Some of y'all, your comments getting deleted a lot. What y'all over here doing in this chat? Yeah, the will to win. They're saying they trying to censor what people do in their bedrooms. That's what he's arguing. Just because you think it's nasty don't mean they think it's nasty. That's what she said. Overthought said, I actually agree with this part. All freak offs ain't bad. You know what? We're gonna pray for you, okay? Aubrey said, and my point is she went to Diddy about the money before going public. She only went public because he told her no. Okay, so I assume, because I'm late to the party in the chat, because I was reading my good reading, I assume that what you guys are talking about is the settlement agreement. And yes, according to reports, Cassie was going to do, now people talk about Kim was going to reveal a book and all of that, and all these different books have come out. But what we do know is that Cassie, supposedly, according to these attorneys and their statements that have come out, she wrote a book, right? So allegedly she wrote this book, and it basically must have detailed all of the ins and outs of their relationship. So what her attorney did, so allegedly there was a text of have your attorney call my attorney. So Diddy's attorney allegedly called her attorney. And in that conversation, Diddy was made aware that Cassie was going to release a book and that if he wanted to buy the exclusive rights to it, he could for $30 million. So she was not going to release the book if he would have paid her the $30 million and he would have exclusive rights, meaning he could have did whatever he wanted to do with it. It wasn't like he would have licensed it from her, meaning you can use it, but other people can, including her. It was, I wrote it, but you get to have this is your intellectual property. You get to have it for $30 million. So I think that's what she's referring to. And yes, the lawsuit did not come until after this $30 million. Diddy basically told her, no, you can go wherever. I ain't giving you nothing. And next thing you know, she filed the lawsuit. It was a firestorm all over this internet. And in less than 24 hours before the court even issued a summons to be able to serve Diddy this lawsuit, he had already settled. It was less than 24 hours he settled that lawsuit. I guess he was trying to stop the bleeding. However, little did he know that was the beginning of the domino effect. And everybody was like, me too, me too, me too. And they're still me tooing because Busby is still filing lawsuits. And people are still filing lawsuits over there in the Southern District of New York and the State Court of New York. I think it's maybe a couple in California. It's a lot going on. Taste Smooth. I've never seen a lot of you guys before. Are you guys subscribed to the channel? Have you guys committed over here? Okay. All of these comments where people gonna go off on me, like, either way that I go, and I just read the opinions and I just talk out loud. That's all I do. Don't know one way or another. I think it's for the jury to decide. I can see points on both sides. That's what I do for a living. But they get mad at me. I'm out. You said something nice about Diddy. I'm out. She was a gold digger. Like, they get mad if I say it on both sides. I don't know these people. Okay. So it's okay. I try my best to be balanced. That's what the scales of justice is. We'll see which way it leans. But I need you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Okay. I need the subscriber count to go up while I take all of this abuse from these random people on YouTube. Okay. But I still read your comments. But I need you to subscribe, okay? Say yes, she certainly should come down to an extent. Don't believe she truly thought it all out. Ramifications. Taste Smooth. That might be true. Thank you for the comment. Just Me said, I've been coming over here for a minute now. I get kicked out from time to time, but that's okay. Just Me, we always have to have somebody that's held in contempt. I mean, it just happens all the time. Probably arguing with people in the chat. It happens. I just read. That's what the mods are for. And so they try to keep it where YouTube don't, do something to my channel because of what some of you guys say. I get it. You're passionate. You care about the topic. But sometimes you get so passionate that your girl ends up getting in trouble with YouTube, and that becomes a problem. So that's why that happens. So it's no offense. I'm glad you take it and you move on. You pay it dust and you come back for round 2. I appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Some of these I can't even read. My goodness. They gonna really be going off on me. Okay. We're almost finished with this. I said that about 3 times, right? So then it goes on and it says, these videos depict clearly consensual acts. You guys get the theme of this? It was consensual among willing adults on a decades-long relationship and fundamentally undermine the government's case and victim one's claims. Indeed, they are entirely consistent with redaction. We don't know. They are unquestionably Brady material, notwithstanding the government's outlandish theories, and we anticipate that the undisclosed audio portions and metadata will contain Brady material as well. At a minimum, they are certainly not ultra-sensitive material that needs to be subject to extreme restrictions outside the normal course of discovery in criminal cases. Finally, we get to a finally, comma. Preventing Mr. Combs' defense team from obtaining copies of the video so he can prepare his defense at trial would violate the due process clause and his right to present meaningful defense. And then it's a bunch of case law again. Okay. Even interest as strong as the state's secret privilege, a much greater interest than the purported interest here, must in certain cases give way to a criminal defendant's right to present a meaningful defense. Because there is no good cause. This is the ending. Wherefore, I put the wherefore in there. Because there is no good cause to restrict defense counsel's access to the videos, and because the video must be disclosed pursuant to Brady and Rule 16, we respectfully request a protective order be modified to require the government to electronically produce the videos of Mr. Combs and Victim 1 to Mr. Combs' counsel with the attorney's possession only, designation under the protective order. And that is the end of the letter. So I guess the judge gonna have to look at the tapes and say whether they should be like, how we gonna come to this conclusion? I don't know. Guess the judge is gonna have to view it and decide whether it's something that should be produced, whether it is Brady material. Like, what do you say? Like, oh, she looks like she's enjoying it. She doesn't look high. I mean, because the government, they're going to respond to this and they're probably going to say most people are compliant. And just because they look like they enjoy it doesn't mean they enjoyed it. And they may say she's going to testify that she didn't enjoy it and she only did it because she was forced to do it. And that may be her testimony, that she knew it was going to be some type of consequence if she didn't do what she was told to do. Because that's what people in abusive relationships do. They don't want to make their abuser pissed off. So they're going to respond in that manner. Like, so how do you really determine what is in the mens rea, what's in the mind of that person, unless you have that person get on there? And we're pretty sure she is not going to admit. Well, you never know, I guess. But if I were to assume, I wouldn't think that she's going to admit, like, oh, yeah, I was really enjoying it. She's probably going to say what the government is saying. Remind you, she probably was the one at the grand jury because most of this information, and we know a lot of the evidence came from her. So, including these tapes that they want. So, there may have been testimony that she didn't want to do it. That might be what she said. So, we'll see what happens next. Southwest Houston said investigators have been following Diddy for years. I'm sure. He's been in a lot of situations as well, and he's beat a few situations. The situation he had in that club with Shine, and the thing about Shine, let's get something clear too. So with Shine, I think what people think Shine took the rap for Diddy. But what it was with the Shine situation, they both were charged. It wasn't just Shine. They both were charged with those shootings. And one of the young ladies pointed, and I think she said, the one that's kind of vocal on the internet, she said that Diddy was the one that did it. However, there were other witnesses that came up that Diddy had on the stand that I believe said that Shine was the one that did it. So it becomes a credibility contest for the jury to decide credibility. So apparently they believed the witnesses that Diddy had on the stand. And so Shine was pissed off because apparently he thought there was an agreement of which Diddy was not going to put people on the stand that was going to implicate Shine, like they was going to be in this together. But once they got, which I guess I don't understand why they would have been tried together, why it wouldn't be bifurcated, because if they have antagonistic type defenses where it's like, you did it, no, you did it. But anyway, he had people on the stand that basically was saying it wasn't him. It wasn't Diddy. And I guess it was one witness that I believe pointed to Shine. So that's why Shine was pissed off, because he was like, hold on. But it was never a thing of oh, his friend took the fall for him. They was both up in that club allegedly, doing, I think they were going to do a self-defense. Because if I recall correctly, it was going to be self-defense. And so that was going to be what they both were going to do. And I think Diddy may have just kind of absolved himself, period. Shines was self-defense. So he believed if they both stuck to the plan, they would have both got out. But instead, Shine ended up doing like a decade because of it. So that's his issue with Shine. So for those of you that don't know, it wasn't like Diddy just was sitting on the sideline and he took the rap for him and somebody no, Diddy was charged. He was charged at that time as well. Okay, yeah. The victim did say she always said Diddy pulled the trigger and she testified. Just Me said, yes, that's exactly how it went. Shine was also pissed off because he had a public defender and Diddy had a top-notch attorneys. Wow. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. But see, what happens is what Diddy probably told him, and again, I'm assuming, Diddy probably said, you don't need to pay all that money. I done spent all this money. They're going to work together. Because sometimes if you watch the YSL trial, a lot of times what was good for one defendant, because they were trying to say it was a group thing, a RICO, it was good for another defendant. So a lot of those, you seen some defense attorneys that weren't very vocal at all, and they didn't have to be, because they had some very good attorneys that was paying attention to everything, like Brian Steele, who is representing that one prosecutor right now over there with the Ahmaud Arbery's case. Brian Steele was like one of the attorneys representing that prosecutor that helped cover that stuff up for Ahmaud Arbery. That case starts on the 21st as well of this month. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, I'm thinking that he probably told him, yeah, you don't even need to spend that type of money. My attorneys can work with your attorney and we come up with this. And I think that was from his conversation, if I were to believe Shine, that's the information that he's given to the public, that he thought that they both were going to have like a self-defense. And instead, I guess when trial came, he kind of flipped the script and he made it like, I ain't do nothing. My name is Bennett and I ain't in it. And that was kind of the direction his attorneys went. DC Lively said he could have paid Shine witnesses to say he did it. He could have. And you know what? I don't think, again, that's my thing. I don't think Shine, again, if they were going to do self-defense, then Shine was not trying to say he didn't shoot the gun, or he wasn't saying, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Jeez, that he didn't shoot the GUN, too late now. But I don't think he was gonna say he was going that way. If you're gonna say self-defense, then you're basically saying, yeah, I did it, but I did it in self-defense. Like my life was in danger, or in defense of others, in defense of a third party. You can do that as well. So yeah. Thank you, Sharp Powell. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate that. Pan, your hair is beautiful. Your commentary really helps us lay people think outside of emotion, Daddy. Intellect is the real deal as well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you all for supporting my dad again. Miss Buckeye, can you put the link for my dad's channel over there if anybody want to get a little, want to get a message from the Lord after we leave this? You said lock him up. Don't make ish up, and find it very interesting how some women choose who they'll have compassion and alliance to when it comes to Black women and violence committed to her. I need you to elaborate, Sea Breeze 40. What do you mean? Thank you so much for the 500 likes. I appreciate that, y'all. I need you to elaborate. I need to know what you mean by that. AK said, I thought that the bullets from Shine's gun were not the bullets of the people shot. At least that's what I got from the documentary. It may you know way more than me. I just listened to Shine's version, and that was it. I didn't look at any of the evidence. I haven't seen his documentary. I didn't look at any of that. Elite Leo says Sean was getting 10 years regardless because he also pulled out a lethal weapon and fired it in a public space. So what he get, like reckless discharge of a firearm? Yeah, I know that. That's what I'm saying. I think, but see, y'all, this is the climate to change the narrative, right? With Shine, because everybody can't stand Diddy right now. So that's why I said I was very into. Again, back then that was like 90s. I wasn't a lawyer then, and I wasn't following this type of stuff, to be perfectly honest with you. And it wasn't televised, and we didn't have the internet like this. So I didn't, I only know years later. We know decades later. Now, if it was this time that it happened, yeah, we would have watched everything probably on the internet. So I'm going by what Shine's version of the story is. So I don't know anything about the evidence. I don't know anything about the GUNs. I don't know any of that. So you said, now I believe Shine was a victim. That's what Lizzie Lee said. Muffin 218. No, I don't. Pammy Pan gives the facts, not the emotions. Thank you so much. Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't like it. I know they don't be liking it. It's cool. Thais said, I watched the documentary. Sean implies that his attorneys were infiltrated by Diddy. Oh, wow. So his court appointments was like, hey, work with us. That's messed up. I don't know, because Shine is trying to, what was he trying to become prime minister or something? Or is he prime minister over there? He's something over there in Belize. So Shine has to look like, in my opinion, I think he has to look like he ain't did nothing. Like he got railroaded somehow. The IE network said, I have not seen half of you people, so you better make sure you subscribe to this channel, IE network. I'm reading your comment now. All right. Cassie admitted in her own lawsuit she left him 4 times, one time even moving back home to her parents, and Diddy's people called her and said, you should come back. What about your album? Oh. And I think that was part of what Diddy was saying, is that she was free to leave and that she wasn't like in captivity. It was like, but I think the government is saying she relied on him monetarily. So you know how you have a lot of people that stay in abusive relationships because the husband is the breadwinner, and they'll say, well, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? But she did have family. And I think it was 2017, because she was still with them. And a lot of this stuff comes down your timeline when you're talking about Diddy so much. A lot of old videos will start resurfacing. And she did an interview at a radio show, and her brother was there. And I was sitting there thinking, like, your brother ain't never punch him in his face. I'm like, he ain't never just like straight up like, it's me and you, Diddy. Like, you not gonna be putting your hands up on my, because my brothers ain't paid to play them games. Like, so she did seem, a lot of times they isolate you from your family, but it does seem like she did have some family around her, because her brother was with her at that radio station and they were talking about their relationship. And so I think somebody asked about getting married. She did say, she talked talked highly of her relationship with Diddy. And yeah, she mentioned her brother being there. So I was like, oh, so she was around family and stuff. So it's interesting. Yes, she was 19 when she met him. That is true. A child, my brothers, it would have been a rap. It would have been a rapidy rap. Okay. I listen. But every family's different. You said, is it me or does Sean resemble President Obama? The IE network said, then she went back. I'm sorry if you're being forced to him kick rocks. I get signed by someone. But the thing was, he wasn't even putting out her music. Remember, after that song, that Me and You, or whatever that song was, she never even, I think she was in a movie, because that's what she was promoting on one of these videos. She was in a movie. You can see little things if you Google her, like on YouTube. She was involved in some things, but it wasn't music. I think like maybe she would do music for a soundtrack or something, but no, I think he put her on the shelf. She was like a tax deduction. Now they gotta have them a tax deduction to say somebody flopped at the end of the year, but they put their money into it because they was gonna have to give it to the government. That's what he was treating her as, in my opinion, because nothing came out with her. But if you look at Diddy too, like when you look at making the band and all of that, Diddy is good to get you one good album now. That one album, you probably gonna go platinum and all of that. He good to get you one solid album. After that, you usually don't even see these people anymore. Can anyone provide evidence that Cassie is the victim? Well, some people feel like that tape from the hotel. That's what some people think is evidence. Depending on, I guess, the circumstances surrounding that, when he was kicking her and all of that, if that was to make her go back to do some type of actual activity that she didn't want to do. I don't know. I guess we'll see at trial. Trial seems like it's gonna be X-rated. Because if they talking about taking still shots of it and using the pit portions as exhibits, and gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. L. Jackson said, this is another person I haven't seen. L. Jackson, are you subscribed? I need you to answer my question. Are you subscribed to the channel? And did you like this video? Huh? Did you? So I think L. Jackson is talking about, I believe it was Roger Bond, I believe, who was one of the, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I've watched so many people around this time in their videos and their rendition of everything that happened. I believe Roger Bond said that it was a time where she smacked him or something, or some stuff happened in the hotel and she attacked him. I believe there was a video or something where he talked about that. Okay. Thank you so much, L. Jackson. Okay, I can read your comment now. No, I'm joking. They said, did you see the video where the guy said Cassie wasn't innocent at all? He said he was there in the hotel and around them several times. Yeah, I think you're talking about Roger Bond. Thank you so much for your support, Lucas said. Lucas said, one new DA, does the new DA have to interpret the facts the same as the original DA? They can always amend it, supersede it, change the strategy. They can do what they want to do. So, yes. And I posted that in the membership. DA, for those of you that don't know, Damian Williams has resigned once he knew that, he said December 18th or something was going to be his last day before the holidays. So he's back in private practice. Last Friday it was announced that he was back in private practice. So yes, once he found out that Trump was going back in office, he resigned. You ain't got to tell me to go. I will exit on my own. That's pretty much what he said. So he is back in private practice. Damian Williams, who brought this case. If Cassie refuses to work with the new DA, does that affect the case? Interesting. I don't think she's not going to work with them, but you never know. You never know. After I watched the Tory Lanez debacle with the best friend, and how the best friend basically got on the stand, it was like, what's your name? Well, I don't want to come on the stand. They gave her immunity. She said she didn't want to come on the stand because she lied about everything. When she told whatever she told the prosecutor, it was all a lie, even though she sounds so comfortable when she was talking to the DA, and she had her lawyer, she had her man, she had everybody there. She said that she was coerced. She didn't want to be there, and she lied. So yeah, that can happen with witnesses, but I don't know. I'll be surprised if that happens in this case. Because honestly, their case as it sits now, we don't know if they plan on superseding the indictment, as they've basically said on different occasions. They're still investigating. It'll probably be a superseding indictment. That's what Damian, the U.S. attorney, then U.S. attorney Damian Williams, that's what he said when he did the press conference. He said they were still investigating and there was a potential. It wasn't off the table that they were going to supersede the indictment, which means add more charges or whatever. Thank you so much for the question and the super chat. I appreciate that. Instead, you want other Diddy victims get every artist that was a part of Bad Boy in the 90s and 2000s. All right. Say so. Allegedly. Georgia Peach 7777. Good to see you. Are you subscribed? Thank you. Listen, I didn't call everybody about the bushes today. Thank you guys so much for commenting. I appreciate that. You said Chopper finally did an interview saying that he saw Diddy and a music exec and afterwards was able to get what he wanted. He started out saying that Diddy was bi, then he became, okay. I think I saw a clip of that where he said, yeah, it was some kissing or something going on. Yeah. Everybody coming out saying, then people get mad when some people are of the opinion of, why are you guys saying it now? But if you look at it, so what a lot of these artists are alleging is that they were blackballed from the industry. Do people try to blackball you from the industry? Yes, they do. They do try to blackball you from the industry. So it sounds like to me a lot of the individuals from making the band, and they were very talented, that decided to separate and not really deal with Diddy. They have not. Day 26 was very, very talented. They not doing work like that. I think every now and then you see them performing, but they're not doing work like that. Danity Kane. Remember, he basically broke them all up on the internet. I think honestly, when it came to the band, he really wasn't caring about their future like that. I think it was a show for him. So he didn't care if they made it or didn't make it. He was proving to the world that he hold the key and he could make you successful. But as far as longevity, future, generational wealth, he didn't care about none of that. That was a show for him. It was an opportunity. That's my opinion. But when you look at a lot of these people, they didn't really. Sarah, she could sing. That's why I was curious to see what she was gonna say on this documentary. I'm gonna have to look at it again, like I said, because if you missed in the beginning, I fell asleep on it. That's not to say it was boring. It was just to say your girl was sleepy. I was up too early cleaning up. But yeah. So Aubrey said, and I asked Chopper, was that before or after the Hurricane Katrina? Because he said he asked Diddy for money and he said no. Oh, okay. Aubrey got a little bit of tea. Okay, so apparently Chopper asked him. A lot of them probably went to him for money, and you got to look at it like that. A lot of them don't have from that perspective, from that lens as well. A lot of them were not successful and did not have money. That's why, again, when I saw Sarah, I was like, what's she gonna say? Wait a minute. And she started posting that, and she's remarried, I guess, to somebody else. And I don't know what her husband does, but he seems like he's a part of a lot of stuff that she does. And so he tags her in a lot of stuff on Instagram. So he promoted the fact, I guess, that she was going to be on there. Now, remember when she was on Making the Band, she was married. Remember, she had drama. Like, she would always be like, I'm married with kids. That's why I never thought anything happened with her. I was like, oh, he ain't trying that. Because her husband seemed a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know what I'm saying? So, not in a bad way, but he just seemed like he wasn't playing that about his wife and his family. So she would be calling and stuff, and my freaking kids are. Remember, she always said freaking. She'd be like, my freaking kids are at the hospital right now. What am I gonna do? You can still see all these clips all over YouTube of Making a Band. So a lot of stuff was about I'm a mom. I'm a wife. She came in there married, so she was about her family. So I was kind of shocked. But then when I seen like what some of the stuff she was saying, she just said, this is so hard for me. She was like, I've never told anybody. And she was crying on there. And she basically said that he inappropriately touched her on the video, on the Peacock documentary that came out today. But that's all the real interesting information I got out of it, because otherwise I fell asleep. So Elise said, yeah, Sarah and her husband were crazy. They both been to jail for DV. Yeah, because there is, remember, I don't know if you guys know, and you can Google this, but Nikki Gilbert, who is a part of Brownstone, she's the founder of the group Brownstone. She did a show that I believe it was on BET, and it was called The Bottom Up. And Sarah was on there. So they like talked about, I believe they talked about when Sarah, they had filmed when she, I think Sarah's dad was like went to jail for touching kids or something. And so it was a lot. It was a lot. So there was like court cases of her going there for that. Then like her and her husband decided, I think her husband served her divorce papers while she was in jail. So they were talking about that. But yeah, The Bottom Up was actually a good show. I wish she would have been able to spin off. But it was really about women who had went to prison over, like, they had money, and so now they starting all over because they went to prison. So it was like the lady here who was the deputy chief to Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, Christine Beatty, was on there because remember she went to jail for perjury. And then it was a lady who was giving them butt injections, and she was making hand over fist and money, like giving illegal butt injections. She ended up going to jail. It was a very interesting show, but Sarah was on there. So that's kind of like how I somewhat for a minute knew what Sarah was doing. But that was some years ago that The Bottom Up came up on too. Hey, for always forever, good to see you. You said you caught it by accident. Well, I'm glad you caught it by accident. We was on our way up out of here. Child, the number starting to climb again. I think that a lot of this was after Aubrey and her married partner, Lil Trump, started to say more and more. I think that Lil Trump used to use his connections to do a lot of this. Who is Lil Trump? Like, who is that? I don't know who that is, child. You gotta let me know, Georgia Peach. Who is that? See, Breezy said it seems executives and music look for a very talented broken people to take advantage of, like it's a prerequisite to being signed to a deal. Times have changed though. Now you can go, well, if we still keep TikTok, or you can use YouTube. A lot of people are able to now people are able to put their talents out there and you go viral off, and you could go to bed a reglo smeglo with nobody knowing you, and because you put a video out there that somehow caught the algorithm at the right time, got enough views and clicks, it went viral. And then you like a Risa Tisa over there doing interviews and getting book deals and show deals and make money off of your story when you was just trying to, you just put your little video like go to bed, wake up, your video got 1 million views. So it's a different day and time. And so because of that, a lot of record companies, they don't even be wanting to touch you until they know you have your own following, because social media following is important. Back then, you had gatekeepers because there were only certain people that can get you in front of enough people for you to be seen. There were only certain people that can get you on the radio. Well, now, shoot, if I want to sing, I just go put it out on YouTube, or I put it out on TikTok or Instagram, and I may go viral. So now they're not gatekeepers like that. If you got the talent and your music is fire and everyone sees that, you can come out there and get opportunities on your own. Look at Tabitha Brown. Like, you go and she went viral. She was doing Uber driving. You go and you're on a vegan journey because you felt God told you to go on a vegan journey for your health. You go into Whole Food and you basically do some type of taste testing, and you do it in your car, and then you go viral. And now look at her now, been able to capitalize off of it, got 20 deals, books, and in Target, and cookbooks, and shows, and podcasts, and she's like an actress now. She's been on it, like, off of that. That's how fast it can happen because of social media. Well, before, the only way you would have that type of notoriety and that stuff happen to you is by these gatekeepers like a Diddy. So times have changed. And then plus you have couple that with the Me Too movement. Women are coming forward and they're banding together to talk about abuse that they endure, whether it's in the 70s or 80s. Then they pass laws where you can sue people 30 years later for something that happened 30 years ago if you got the courage to come forward. So it's just a different day and time. Yeah. Early morning vibes in the blink of an eye. Miss HLS said the Diddy's jumped all in the chat today. Y'all hit the like button and subscribe. Tell them, Miss HLS, listen. Diddy folks was up in here. Listen here. You know they said Diddy paid me or whatever. They was like, you sound like you on Diddy's payroll. It's like, what? Child. I certainly wouldn't be coming on here I probably still would be coming on here. But yeah, I was like, dang, just because I said something that generally people want you to always think like them. And if you don't think like them, it always has to be something behind it if you don't think like them. People talk from their unhealed places. I need people to go get healed. Go get healed, okay? Go get healed. Go get some therapy. Everybody is not out here windmilling for everybody else. It's nobody out here I windmill for. If I like what your topic is and I'm for you on that, that's just what it is for that topic. But if they come for you on the next topic and the government come after you, then I might be on the government side. That's just the way it goes. Lele said, thank you, Pam, for always keeping us updated. Thank you so much for the super chat and the support. It's been so cool talking to you guys on today. Thank you guys so much as always. Make sure you hit that like button. You know, I know some of y'all at work and you're not supposed to be. Ty said, let Diddy give me an envelope. Listen, if Diddy gave me an envelope, y'all would know. You know how y'all would know? Because everything that I be thinking that he could possibly do to help his defense, I will be over there in the courtroom. You'll be like, where is Pam? I'll be like, I am live right now outside the Southern District of New York. Right now outside of the Southern District of New York. I just came out of the Diddy hearing. It was an explosive argument. These are some of the best arguments I have ever heard from the defense. Okay. Let me do all of the points right now of what Diddy is arguing. Okay. I'll be going line by line, precept by precept on everything good. And when it came to the government, I'll be like, the government did all right. They could do better. And I'll be going line by line, precept by precept. And then when I hear something, y'all know I take copious notes. If I hear something that the government, I'll be writing notes. I'll be passing them to Agnafilio. Like, here, bro. Here go the notes. This what I think. Here you go. Here you go. I'll be like, Diddy, don't worry. I got you. I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll be sitting there with my notes and my pad. Shoot. Y'all would know. Y'all wouldn't hear not one nice word come out my mouth about the government at all. I'll be like, that's just stupid. Why would they even file this garbage? Why would you even file this? But see, I'm not doing that. I'm saying whatever's happening on both sides. That's what I'm doing. That's it. So that's it. So Real came on here and she wanted me to like really, really like act the fool. But I'm not gonna do that, Real. I'm not gonna do it. Are you subscribed to the channel where I feel like you on here trying to, be funny? Are you subscribed? Did you at least hit the like or the dislike? Okay. Huh? Did you at least do that? My hair is the way it fell this morning with a bunch of curls, okay? That's what's going on with my hair today. It always gotta be one. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna do, it's cool. Okay, y'all. Thank you guys so much. That was my cue, So you do your best Malaga at the Tory Lanez child impression. Child, she was like, that's how she was. She was sitting there. I was there every day. She was like, do I have to answer that? Yes, you have to answer that. I don't know. I don't really want to testify because the stuff that I said wasn't true. The only thing she was definitive on, are you and Miss Pete still friends? No. That she was clear on, okay? She was not tossing to and fro on that, okay? She knew exactly. She was not riding the wave, the fence, none of that. She was like, no, we are not friends. I was like, damn, okay. Then they would say things like, were you guys fighting? No, no. And then I think it's her husband. It was her husband. She married him. That she had her kid by. He was there too, and he sat like he didn't sit in the gallery where we were with all the people. He sat like where the attorneys were, like right behind the attorneys or whatever on the prosecution. So he was like up there. He wasn't like back in the gallery. Like he had to make sure she was safe. Make sure she was safe. But yeah, that trial was interesting. There's some stuff going on with that Milagro, and I gotta catch up on it. Miss Buckeye, thank you so much for the super sticker, sis. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rossi. She was trying it, wasn't she? She was really trying it. I just like, what? No, I just had a bunch of curls. Y'all seen how curly my hair was? That was a week ago when I got it curled. This still the curls from a week ago. I ain't do nothing but comb it down. That was it. And this ain't really a bang in real life. Just to let y'all know, this ain't no bang in real life. I just don't have a bang, and this is how my hair was falling. So I was like, I need to swoop that on over to the side. That's all. It's not even a real bang. Y'all be trying it sometime, but it's okay. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. She was trying to joke. It's cool. It was a bad joke. But anyways, y'all, you guys have a great day. If something else happens, wait a minute. Let me double check. Let me make sure nothing else happened. Let me see if something else I got to report, so I ain't got to rush back on here. Am I still signed into this? Probably not. They probably signed me out. Let's see. Hold on. Let me double check. Let's see if the government then already got their lick back. Because that's what they do. Let's see what the government said. Nope, the government hasn't got their lick back yet. So we'll see when the government gives their lick back. Let's see what happens. But this was fun. I like interacting. I'm glad I was able to read more comments. Usually these documents are so long that when I finish, I'm like, I'm out. I'm not reading not another nothing. But this time I was actually able to interact with you guys. Thank you guys so much for the interaction. I appreciate it. Thank you for the questions and the super chats and all of that. Yeah, ain't nothing going on yet. Ain't nothing going on yet. So anyway, y'all, I'm out of here. You guys have a blessed day. All right. Until next time. I'll holler at you later.